Yesterday was not an ideal day for the Philadelphia Eagles on the injury front. A litany of roster moves, a litany of IR moves, changes all over the roster. It's going to be an interesting week. It's going to be an interesting month. Phillies, another win. They've got the first round bye. Can Kyle Schwarber do it? Should he do it? Trending in the AM, talking Eagles, Phillies, maybe Sixers and Flyers, who knows? We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter, you know the drill. Wherever you're watching, hit that like button. Please share this out, and of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Starting the day at 683, had a huge boost and bump yesterday. Let's see what we could do today, but it all starts by you guys hitting that like, share, subscribe button. And if you're watching on Twitter, head on over to the YouTube page to subscribe, but also that is the only place you can vote on our daily poll question. Today's daily poll question: what Eagles injury are you most concerned with? Nolan Smith, Zack, Baun, Jihaad, Campbell, Adoree Jackson. Not expected too many votes for Adoree Jackson, but we'll get into each and every one of those injuries in a second. But please like, share, subscribe, and vote on the YouTube poll question, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and we've got lots to talk about because the injury front, the injury news, just the vibe from Eagles practice yesterday, before and after it, not so good, as there were a whole bunch of new, fresh injuries for us to have to deal with, for this team to have to overcome, just more adversity. And most of it is on, actually, all of it of importance is on defense. So we're going to get into each and every one of those things right now. Obviously, the big news is that Nolan Smith, our starting edge rusher, probably our best edge rusher, is on the injured list. He went on IR. He's going to miss the minimum of 4 weeks. Reports are not to expect him back till November 10th, coming out of the bye against the Green Bay Packers. That is a massive, massive loss. They also put Darius Cooper and Jacorian Bennett on IR. Kind of expected the Darius Cooper, Jacorian Bennett we didn't know. We know that now. Then at practice, you had Adoree Jackson not practicing, another expected thing. You had Zack Baun not practicing and having a massive brace on his left knee. You had Jihaad Campbell not practicing. You had Adoree Jackson not practicing as well. They did add Marcus Epps, Perry Nickerson, Cam Latu to the active roster. They signed Lance Dixon, Eli Ricks, and Quez Watkins to the practice squad. So there's literally like 9, 10, 11 different things to digest there with the Eagles. But let's get right to the comments. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? Yeah, 683. Can we get to 685? I'll take 685 today. Phillies brought out the bats last night. 8 home runs in the game. That was something right there. Good morning, Duck. How you doing? What a last regular season game for the Phillies. What the hell is with the injuries? Yeah, I mean, great game for the Phillies last night, but that Eagles news yesterday is definitely extremely concerning. Duck's answer to the poll question of the day: Zack Baun is the most concerning because he's a field leader that can't be matched on the defense. With the two linebackers, Campbell and Baun, I'm really weird with these two injuries. So we didn't know either of them got hurt. Baun didn't practice and had a huge, thick brace on his knee, but said after practice, don't worry, precautionary, I'll be fine. Jihaad Campbell had a little sleeve on his knee. They said he had a pec injury, I think is what was listed on the injury report. He didn't sound, even though you didn't look at him and think injured, he kind of just said, I don't know, we'll just see day by day. And I think the Jihaad Campbell's a bigger loss than people realize, because without Nolan Smith, Jihaad Campbell could be filling in some of those edge rushing snaps, and now can't. So I think that's a really concerning. The verbiage coming out of Baun versus Campbell's mouth makes me worry that Jihaad Campbell might miss some time. What's up? Adam says Kyle Schwarber will beat Ryan Howard. Kyle Schwarber hit 2 more home runs last night, gets him to 56 on the year. There are 4 games left. Ryan Howard holds the single season record for the Phillies at 58. Can he tie it with 2 more? Can he break it with 3 more? You've got 4 games to do it. When Kyle Schwarber gets one of his hot streaks, he's very, very capable of doing it. Schwarber should be able to hit 60. How about Sosa returning with 3 home runs? You'll love to see a guy not play in, 2-3 weeks, and then come out and instantly hit 3 home runs. It's crazy. Howie will be shopping, maybe. Howie will be shopping after this week. It's too late in the week for Howie to be shopping for this week. There's nothing he can really add now that will fix this week's matchup with the Buccaneers. We got tons of players are out. We might be missing quite a few players on, obviously, Nolan Smith, Adoree Jackson, Ja'Cory Bennett, all probably won't play. You throw in 1 or 2 of those linebackers, it's going to be scary against Tampa on Sunday. Nolan Smith being out when he's getting his groove is really a thing. Look, I think the Nolan Smith injury is a major loss for this defense. Nolan Smith might not have the sack numbers per se, but the rest of our group right now is Zadarius Smith, who's 32, 33. We've got Jalix Hunt, who's been good. Josh Uche, who's been okay, not great against the run. You've got Ojulari, Double O, and Patrick Johnson, who were healthy scratches last week. The depth at edge went from being a little thin to extremely thin like that. And it's crazy with the Nolan Smith, because if you go back and watch his last play on the field, he didn't look hurt at all. I don't know where he hurt it, how he hurt it, or what, but man, it's a big loss. K1, you're afraid? Well, go get a dog. The SPCA's got lots of dogs that are time-stamped. You could save one, and that'll help you from being afraid. Is Lance Johnson? I'm not sure who Lance Johnson is, but Lane Johnson seems to be good to go. He practiced limitedly yesterday, which is a good sign. Even in a limited fashion, that's a positive step. So I'm expecting at this point Lane Johnson to be ready for Sunday's game. All the injuries that we have to worry about seem to be defensive injuries. What's up, Peanut? Vic Fangio is going to have to get creative this week. How do we slow down the Bucs offense, in your opinion? Because your opinion matters. Everyone's opinion matters, right? I don't know how we're going to solve. Look, so Vic Fangio is going to have to get creative. That's how we stop the Bucs offense. We're potentially missing up to 4 guys that played a majority of snaps last week. Losing 4 of your 12 top defensive snap guys potentially next week, that's a huge loss. So it means the thumbnail, it says next man up. That next man up mentality, it's a problem. K1, I said, get a dog. That solves all your fears. That will fix everything. When the fuck did these dudes get hurt? That's something that bothers me. Like, we don't know when they got hurt. We didn't see injuries on any of these guys. It's a concern. Good. I want to see Trotter anyway. Campbell doesn't attack the run. Fits like a linebacker. Oversized, salty, or safety is not what I like at middle linebacker. Well, see, here's the thing. Trotter was going to get his chance, Keith, with Nolan Smith, at least somewhat, because you could slide Campbell to the outside. Now, you don't like Campbell, and that's your opinion. I get that. But the numbers say, the analytics say, Jihaad Campbell is one of the top 10 linebackers, middle linebackers in the NFL this year right now. We have 2 of the top 10. Zack Baun's like 1 or 3. Jihaad Campbell, I think, was number 9 on the list of rankings, all the analytics and stuff like that. So Campbell might not be eye-testing it for you, but analytically he is doing very well. But Trotter might be getting some snaps. It looks like Campbell might not be out there this week. It's Trotter Jr. time to shine. It was 1 more week later, and then you have Nakobe Dean as an opportunity to slide in. No. Adam, you said Lance Johnson. My expectation is Lance Johnson will not suit up for the Eagles this week. I think Lane Johnson will suit up. What's up, Doughboy? Howie needs to let Dallas go after the season is over because he is a liability. Eagles need a tight end like Cole Kmet. Well, yes, but, I mean, look, the Dallas Goedert problem, it's one that's just never going to go away until we let go of the guy. The guy's great and helpful to the offense when he's out there, but you can't help the club from the tub. It's plain and simple, Doughboy. It's Trotter time. Team Trotter hashtag. What's up, Eagles girl? I hope everybody's hitting that like and subscribe and share button. I'd greatly appreciate it. There's a significant opportunity for Jeremiah Trotter Jr. this week. Now, here's the problem. I think Trot can fill in for Campbell. It'll be a loss, whatever. Even if Campbell plays, Trot will get some playing time. Great. What if Jihaad, Campbell, and Zack Baun miss the game? Then it's Trot and Mondin time. Then we're really shit out of luck there, Eagles girl. So it's something that I'm massively monitoring, these injuries and these practice reports, because, if we are out 5 guys that played significant snaps last week on defense going up against a very competent, very strong Buccaneers offense, a Buccaneers offense that's got a quarterback that knows how to improvise and knows how to make plays and has that winning it factor to an extent, I'm extremely scared. Early bye week for the entire defense. Basically, yeah. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm upset we don't have the early bye week this week, mister. Last year we had that 5th week bye, and it came in a perfect time. A 5th week bye would be coming in a perfect time right now, too. Eagles have to win in the trenches, but you just have to put pressure on the Baker. Don't blitz, just disciplining gap. That's the key. Yep, discipline and gap assignments, Doughboy, because we obviously have struggled with that the last couple of weeks, especially in the Patrick Mahomes game, as Patrick Mahomes rushed for well over 60 yards in that game. Look, Campbell's not great in the run game. He's serviceable. He's a rookie 3 weeks into his career, and he missed a lot of training camp. So I'm not sure we need to be critical of his game at this point, or devalue the huge loss that him not playing potentially would cause. I'm not saying whether he's great or not. I'm giving you the numbers that, analytically speaking, he's graded out really well this year. I think he's graded out as the top rookie defensive player, period, right now in the NFL. But, I mean, he's 3 weeks into his career, so I don't really think there's anything there. These injuries change the whole game. It does. And that's why I don't make my predictions too early in the week. Lance Johnson could be Lane's younger, less successful brother. Could be. Could be his evil twin. Could be his Roku, if anybody gets that. That would be great if you understood what the Roku is. Campbell is tons better than Trotter Jr. in coverage. That is true as well. You may see Carter and Davis be doubled now. I mean, it's the loss of Nolan Smith on the defensive line, especially if Campbell can't play. It's going to make the jobs of Carter and Davis harder. I don't think any offensive line or offensive coordinator is scared of Jalix Hunt, Zadarius Smith, and Uche, whichever 2 of those are on the field. Nolan Smith is your best defensive end. He's the guy that's playing 70% of the snaps out there. It's a huge loss. Noobs, massively. And I expect Zadarius Smith to be the starter, with Uche, your main guy, coming in on passing downs. But he's going to have to get creative, Vic Fangio. And who's going to be your 4th guy? Is it going to be Ojulari? Is it going to be Double O? Or is it going to be Patrick Johnson? Or is it going to be a combination of 2 of those guys? Ojulari hasn't played a single game yet this year. I think Double O and Johnson each suited up once. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do going forward here. I got injured playing college football. It sucks. You can't play the sport you love because of a stupid injury. Hey, injuries are a part of sports, though, as well, right, mister? So it does happen. What injury did you suffer? Yeah, we want to know, yeah. But know this, the middle is what makes these linebackers better. That is true as well. Sirianni said he is happy with the defense when asked about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I totally have already moved on from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's not even something I want to engage in conversation about because I know it just doesn't make sense. There's no reason to bring Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. Now, Nick Sirianni did not say no to bringing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back, just so you know. He said no right now. Basically, if you really want to think about it, he said no right now. So God forbid another injury happens this week, then they would consider it. They're not saying no because they don't like the guy. They're saying no because they don't have a fit for him right now. But if a fit for him comes up and he's still available out there, they would definitely consider bringing him back, is the vibe I got from Nick Sirianni's comment, so to speak. The only guys that are definitely out on Sunday are Nolan Smith, Darius Cooper, and Jacorian Bennett. And again, Zack Baun said very positively that he's going to play on Sunday. Campbell sounded very worried about his availability for Sunday. So that's the post-practice comments. The problem is that brace on Zack Baun's knee just looked so big and pokey that it was a visual scaring kind of thing, you know? The visual of it got me scared and got me worried about whether he will be able to play or not. But if I had to say right now, Nooms, I would say Nolan Smith obviously is not playing. Jacorian Bennett obviously not playing. Adoree Jackson won't play. And my guess is Jihaad Campbell won't play. So you're going to be without Nolan Smith, Jihaad Campbell, and your cornerback 2 and the cornerback 2's backup on Sunday. By the way, I have a dog and she's worried about Egbuka. Sorry to hear that. What's up, Eric? All teams are dealing with many injuries around this time. I mean, it's only week 4. Why are there so many injuries in week 4 of the NFL across the board, Eric? It's definitely crazy how many players are hurt already. And we did get lucky last year as an Eagles team until late in the season with Nakobe Dean, and then the playoffs with Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. This Eagles team was relatively healthy throughout the entirety of the season. Law of averages, that'll backfire. Now, our offense is solid. I think the biggest takeaway from all these injuries on defense are that it's going to be even that much more important for this Eagles offense to pick up where they left off in the second half against the Rams and be an explosive offense. No conservative play calling, no conservative drives. The pressure is not on the backups of the injured players. The pressure is on the Eagles' high-priced offense to come through. The defense for the last year plus has constantly covered for the Eagles' offense at times. When the offense stalls, the defense is always there. If the offense is getting stopped, don't worry, we've got this great defense. Well, now it's time for A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, the entirety of the offensive line to nut up or shut up and do their part and say, you know what, defense? You've covered for us. We got you this week. Let's go out there and drop 35 on this Buccaneers team. Let's go drop 38 on this Buccaneers team. It's easier said than done. I get that. But this list and long list of injuries to me means it's pressure on the offense. And the offense needs to step up this week. The offense needs to complete 4 quarters. And that's what I'm getting at. Absolutely. Long drives and control the clock. When Vic Fangio spoke the other day, how do you combat the heat? And now they went from 103 to 105, the projected game time temperature. How do you not gas your defense in 105-degree weather? How do you keep your defense off the field when they're banged up? You have long, control the clock drives. 6, 8, 9-minute drives. 8, 10, 12-play drives. It is going to be critical for the Eagles offense to step up this week with, like I said, anywhere from 3 to 5 regular players on this defense missing the game. The amount of injuries on the defense are on Patullo. They were out there so long, increases the chance of injuries. You know, it's funny. I'm pretty sure the Eagles won time of possession, just so you know, on Sunday, thanks to the second half. But yes, for the first half, they were out there for an enormous, I think they were out there for 17 of the first 30 minutes, but I think it balanced out in the end. I think you'd be shocked by that number. When AJ plays, the Eagles are 1-0 versus Tampa. I think that's a big storyline that not enough people are talking about. Last year when we got beat by them, there was no AJ, no Devontae, or no Lane Johnson last year. AJ, Devontae, and Lane. And AJ's only played once for the Eagles against the Bucs. So there is that as well. Several injuries, concussions, neck stingers, and high ankle sprains. Running into 350-pound offensive linemen is bad for you. Well, yeah, it's bad for your health, for sure. Eagles team is better versus the Bucs. You guys had a hard schedule than us. Well, Bucs, if you're just tuning in, my man, Appreciate you tuning in again. We are banged up like you guys now. We put 3 guys on IR, including our starting edge rusher. We've got 3 key defensive players missing practice this week. The injury bug has hit the Eagles at the worst possible time. Now we know that what the Lions felt like last year, soft tissue injuries are higher risk this week. Absolutely. The Lions, at least on the good side for the Lions didn't let those injuries hamper them last year, at least in the regular season. I think they literally put like 27 players on the injured list last year or the IR last year. They still ended up winning 15 games. So you can overcome injuries if you really feel or really believe that next man up mentality. Eagles should win big this week. It's going to be on the Eagles offense. The healthy Eagles offense versus the banged up Eagles defense. The Eagles offense needs to step up. Yes. What's up, man, Chatter? Good morning to you today. I mean, I don't think Hurts throws much, so it's okay. We're going to start with a Hurts joke. What did this do to the line? It's still so the line opened at 2.5. It's up to 3.5. Okay, so I actually looked this up earlier today, and the over/under started at 45.5, and it's down to 43.5. So all these injuries raised the line and lowered the over/under. Tell me to make that make sense for me, Nooms. That's just completely crazy. The Commies are now without their best wide receiver along with their quarterback, so we can't cry too hard. Yeah, I mean, what's going on with Terry McLaurin? I saw something about Terry McLaurin, but they definitely said something that he's banged up pretty bad. So he held out all camp and got hurt by week 3. If Bucs don't have Godwin or worse, we lose. Well, Godwin did return to practice yesterday. It's still, a shot in the dark whether he plays or not. But yeah, I mean, at least he's getting close to being back. Good morning, Little G. How you doing today? Yes, the Phillies had a huge 11-1 victory last night. Means Eagles win. I mean, look, everything that you're seeing on the Bucs side, we're seeing on the Eagles side as well. Problem is your injuries are spread out between offense and defense. All of our injuries are all defensive injuries. And, you look at the elevations. They put 3 guys on IR, like I said, Nolan Smith, Ja'Cory Bennett, Darius Cooper. But they brought up Marcus Epps, Perry Nickerson, and Cam Latu to the active roster. Cam Latu not shocked because Cam Latu's been filling in that fullback Ben Van Sumeren role. Perry Nickerson, that tells me that Ja'Cory's going to be out 4 weeks at least. Adoree's going to miss a couple weeks. That's the only reason why they'd bring up Perry Nickerson. And Marcus Epps, that kind of shuts the door on Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So that's all those things. Then, of course, Lance Dixon, linebacker, Eli Ricks, cornerback, and Quez Watkins, wide receiver, back on the practice squad for the Eagles. I know Eagles fans everywhere are freaking out because Quez Watkins is back. Who cares? The Barkley Little Caesars commercial is fire. Do you mean Little Caesars? I don't know if I've seen a Little Caesars Barkley commercial, but I don't know what Little Caesars is. Quiz, good too. Quiz? I'm sorry. Not even sure who Quiz is. Are you talking about Quez? I'm already at the acceptance stage on this game, Phil. Acceptance that it's going to be a loss. I mean, I don't think I will ever accept a loss, plain and simple. Will I understand why if they do lose? Sure. But I'll never go into a game in that acceptance stage. After the game, I can figure it out. I can find a way to cope. But before the game, I can't. I do truly believe in that next man up mentality. And this Eagles team is built like that from its leadership. Because of their leadership at the top. If Jihaad Campbell can't go, Trotter Jr. is going to be like, he's been ingrained in his brain. Well, it's my turn. Keely Ringo's been waiting for his opportunity to step up. Fred Johnson was waiting for his opportunity to step up last week. So while there's a chance we're missing a lot of guys, Nick Sirianni, Vic Fangio, Jalen Hurts, Zack Baun will not let the players getting to that acceptance stage. They're not going to let the players say, yeah, we're injured. We can take our foot off the pedal this week. It's that next man up. Quez Watkins can return kicks. He can, actually. I didn't think about that. So we might have 2 new guys back there. I'm not sure they'll elevate him this week from the practice squad. They're going to probably have to wait to make that decision. I think the special team is cue for this game. Yes, the Eagles struggled on kick return big time last week. So that is a huge issue for them to clean up this week. But we've got a great kicker in Jake Elliott, a great punter in Braden Mann. So yeah, that's a big part of it as well. The Bucs have our number, and we're banged up at all the wrong places. The Rams ran all over us, and now we have no linebackers and our best run-stopping edge, K1. Make sure you throw that in there as well. Yeah, I mean, our run defense, we've talked about it, has been banged up. And these guys are missing practice. That's not talking about the guy that I think is practicing and playing and is hurt right now, and that's Jalen Carter. I really, truly believe Jalen Carter's hurt and toughing it out and playing through it. I mean, how many times in the last 2 weeks have we seen him grab his arm or wrist or hand? I don't know what he's grabbing at or where the pain is. He's always grabbing right here. So our run defense has been bad. You're potentially losing 1 or 2 of your starting linebackers. You've lost your best edge rusher. It's a huge loss. Absolutely huge loss. Phil, long did your mouth go to college? You have a smart mouth today. I mean, yeah, I'm a college graduate. I got my college alma mater poster hanging right there. Keely Ringo will be getting over-the-top help if he plays. It's not if he plays. I would say at this point, from my information, Nooms, you're looking at a 90% chance that Keely Ringo is your starting cornerback too. Adoree Jackson isn't practicing. Ja'Cory Bennett's already been put on IR. Are they going to start Perry Nickerson instead of Keely Ringo? I highly doubt that. They're not going to elevate Eli Ricks and start him. They'll probably elevate Eli Ricks, but they're not going to start him. This is Keely Ringo's week. This is his shot. He's got one shot to lay it all on the line. Seahawks versus Cardinals is a garbage game. Is that tonight's game? Yeah, it is. I'll make my prediction on that later in the show. Way too early. Only 27 minutes in. Not enough people have hit that like button. No new subscribers. Not enough shares. Only 18 votes on the poll. We got to hit those buttons. I'll get to my prediction on tonight's game later, but I do have a prediction. Schedule loss. Don't bring that negative energy, Adam, into the chat. No such thing. I think it's going to be a running game for both teams this week. Yes. I mean, the Bucs know that we can't. I still truly think, Bucs, that the Rams win that game if they don't go away from the run. They marched up and down the field for the first 2.5 quarters running the ball. Then they stopped running the ball, and then they lost. So the Bucs see that. The Bucs have very good running backs. Their offensive line is obviously banged up, but they're going to try to control the clock. Wear our weak defense out. Weak as in injured defense, not overall weak, okay? So they're going to try. And the Eagles are going to try the same thing because they know that with that heat, you got to wear the defense out. Carter's a deep contusion from what I heard, but he's playing through. He's not on the injured list. He's practicing. He's playing his normal 80-90% of snaps, but he's definitely banged up and hurting, and it's definitely affecting his performance on the field. That is the other option. Is Mac McWilliams, the rookie, ready? I tend to believe that they will go the Keely Ringo way, but it wouldn't shock me if there's a bad drive from Keely Ringo that he at least gives Mac McWilliams a look. Vic Fangio, I'm talking about. We've already had 20 concurrent today, at least twice. We had 29 or 30 concurrent yesterday. Let's go. Like, share, subscribe. Everybody join in. Drop your comments. Eagles offense comes alive for 4 quarters and win by at least 10. I mean, that's bold. That's hopeful. That's very hopeful from you. I hope the Eagles offense learned something last week. I hope the Eagles offense, can build upon it. Because, again, this is the week where the offense is not just to build our confidence. The offense is needed because of the injuries. They've got to do their thing. The worst injuries happen in the locker room when football players get in fights without gear on. I seen a guy get his skull cracked, getting body slammed. Well, that's some scary stuff right there. The Ringo sexuals will be out in full force. Some people just don't get how long he has had the same issues. Look, I get it. And I know you've broken it down on the X's and O's on Keely Ringo. But he's been here. This is his third year. He's got to be ready. This is his opportunity to shit or get off the pot. If he wants to be a starting cornerback and not just a special teams player, this is his week. Can he do it? I know you're doubtful that he could do it. Vic Fangio seems to be confident that he could do it. And Vic Fangio is the kind of guy, with how honest he is, that Vic Fangio would not lie. He wouldn't say the truth maybe, but he wouldn't lie. He wouldn't say he sucks and he's gonna fail. But what he will do is say, Ringo's ready to go. That's what he said. He wouldn't say that if he wasn't. He'd say, well, he's got to have a good week of practice and we'll see. So when Vic Fangio says something good like that, I tend to believe it. 2 weeks, baby. 2 weeks. Been doing some extra stretches in the morning. Ready to rock and roll. 19 under this year, Brian. I'm expecting you to carry the load on that. Blank and Ringo be mid. We'll see. Good morning, Phil. Who is your favorite character from the television series Cheers? Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, I watched Cheers more as a rerun than when it was a new show or in actual production. I don't know. I guess Norm, but I don't think it's Norm. You gotta give me time to think about that one. Yeah, I really need to think about that because I'm not positive the right answer on that. Carla, maybe. Norm, maybe. Woody. I don't know. Some combination of those guys. I'd have to think about that. Give me a minute. Mac McWilliams is kind of sort of ready, but just, man, I don't know. I mean, I think the talk would have been about him and not Keely Ringo if he was ready. What's wrong with that question? It's a tough question, though, but yeah, it's got to be Norm. I don't know. Norm's too cliche of an answer there. This is Ringo's chance to step up and take his opportunity. Look, I really believe if he goes out there and plays a good game this week, he's the starter going forward, even when players get healthy and ready. They wanted Ringo to win this job. Keely Ringo is in the Tyler Steamboat of last year. He was supposed to be the guy. They want him to be the guy, and Becton beat him out. This year, Ringo was wanted to be the guy. And he was beat out by Adoree Jackson. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But honestly, is it? Because Becton was a nobody last year also. So they want Ringo to be the guy. This is his opportunity to prove he's the guy. Ringo can run for my track team any day of the week. Why he's so good on special teams. It's a tough question. I want to say Norm, but I feel like Norm is a cliche answer. I really do. I mean, Sam. Might be the answer to that question. If Ridley Scott's Napoleon lured millions to the Bacchus, there's no reason this show couldn't get exactly. Fair comment. And that's why everybody's good. We're at 21 people. There should be 21 likes on this video. There should be 21 votes on the poll and maybe more than 683 subscribers. If Napoleon could do it, Elephant, go tell some friends. I think it's great, man. It's a great comment. I like Coach because he didn't say much, but when he did, it was hilarious. When he passed, it was a gut punch at the time. I agree. Napoleon was a disappointment for sure. That's what everyone says. Elephant spitting facts. He is spitting facts today about Ridley Scott, not this show. When the director portrayed Napoleon doing it, it was what? I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Ringo is such a good outside rusher on special teams. Fast. He's fast. Look, I know there's questions about Keely Ringo's ability. There's going to be till he proves otherwise. But I think, Rick hasn't been tuning in lately, and that's fine. But Rick always talks about parallel lines, right? Well, there's a parallel line with Tyler Steen and Keely Ringo. Now, I hope it doesn't take till next year for Keely Ringo to be that guy. This is his opportunity now to take over that role. Dude, I was busting and grinding yesterday, man. The last 48 hours, we've gained about 25. At this rate, I'll be at 700 by the end of the week. Probably not, though, because where all the growth yesterday, there's no growth yet today on the show and channel. Ice cold glass mugs with 80s beer. Yeah, look, yeah, I try to be famous. It is, we blew through that before yesterday's show. Anyway, shorts are kicking in, but also, guys, you do understand I do a lot of grinding when I'm off the air, talking to people, getting people to subscribe and stuff. I'm always hustling on every social media platform out there, trying to direct people here. I put in a lot of work to only gain 5 or 6 a day. Just so you know, it's not just the 90 minutes on this show, but the shorts definitely are helping a lot. Anyway, let's get it back on track. Let's get it back to the conversation at hand. These injuries with the Eagles. I also want to throw the conversation out there. We are talking Phillies as well today. Kyle Schwarber is 2 home runs from tying Ryan Howard's record, 3 home runs from breaking it with 4 games left. Rob Thompson said he is going to let Kyle Schwarber play this weekend and not rest him to try to help him get to breaking that record. A, is that the right decision? B, can he break the record? And C, what kind of season is Kyle Schwarber having? Where does it rank all time in individual seasons in the last 25 years with the Phillies? It's crazy. K1, Duck, and Mr. What beer would you order in the 80s? They're probably Miller Lite guys back then. Hard to believe no Philly shortstop has hit 3 home runs in a game. I mean, we haven't had any like real power hitting shortstops. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where anybody could do it, I guess, if they get hot one day. But yeah, I'm looking forward to MLB playoffs. The Phillies are a good team. Pearl or Stroh's probably what? How do we keep players who can go cold, fast, back into the swing going to the playoffs? Bader needs a game or 2. Well, they will probably do, because October 4th. So their last game is Sunday. That's the 26th, 28th. They're going to have 6 days off in between games. They will probably have 2 scrimmages in that time, the Phillies. 1 definitely, 2 probably. They'll definitely take batting practice almost every day. I believe I saw October 4th will be the first home game at Citizens Bank Park. But they will do stuff throughout the week to keep their bats going. Raleigh hit 59 and 60 last night. Wow. He's been tearing it too. What are those? What? I thought, yeah. Anyway, Heineken or Yingling because I'm a Philly guy and Asian dude. I'm not a Heineken person. I find Heineken very overrated. Steve Jeltz, Dickie Thon. Dickie Thon did not have the power he did in Minnesota because he got hit in the temple when he came to Philly. And Steve Jeltz, he did hit 2 home runs from the opposite. Wasn't he the guy, the switch hitter? Hit a home run from the left and right side of the plate in the same game, same inning, I think, right? That was my man, Steve Jeltz. One of the first baseball cards I ever got was the Steve Jeltz card. J-Roll was not a power hitter, but he hit for power at times. But you didn't think I was going to know Steve Jeltz detailed knowledge, but of course I've got Steve Jeltz, and you definitely didn't think I knew that Dickie Thon was a great power hitter for the Twins. I think his best year was like 24 home runs. And then he came to the Phillies after getting hit in the temple by a pitch, and he was never the same after that. He had a really, really fast feet at the plate. He bounced around a lot, Dickie Thon. Watched Deep Impact the other day. Deep Impact was better than Armageddon, FYI. Duck, they didn't have those in the 80s. Probably not. Yeah, I don't know why we're talking beer, but I only watched Cheers because it was my dad's favorite show, and we only had one television. I would order a Colt 45. I don't think I've ever had a Colt 45, guys. I don't think so. But anyway, on that Kyle Schwarber thing, by the way, I love to criticize the idiotic, moronic takes of certain people on the radio. And there was one that we've criticized a lot lately, ESP, criticizing the Phillies because Rob Thompson said that he's going to let Kyle Schwarber go for the home run record, okay? Saying the difference between the Eagles and Phillies, the Eagles, Saquon Barkley had a chance to break a record last year, and they sat him. The Phillies are not sitting Kyle Schwarber despite him chasing the record. and that the Phillies are a losing team because of that. Basically, I'm paraphrasing it. Big difference in those two situations, I think. Big difference. And you're starting drama where you don't need to. We're just going through random comments here that I don't even know what they're talking about. Thon was an Astro, not at Twin. Okay, Astro. All right. I was off by the team. Wrong team. Anyone know the other good MLB teams? Not the Tigers anymore. I know that for sure. Yes, they did in Philly. Trust me, every family party and every bar. Yeah. Yingling was definitely all over a long time ago. What's up, Bruce? How you doing? I hope you saw that Phillies game and all those home runs last night. Schwartz is a DH, exactly. You got a DH, plus you're getting a full week of games off, and you're worried about him going out there and DHing. Versus Saquon, who had already run for over 2,000 yards, needing a break, and Saquon asked to sit for the betterment of the team. ESP is a moron, no question. Absolutely. I mean, he's still deep in his research on gang ties. I'm surprised he didn't say Kyle Schwarber has gang ties in that comment that he made, and that's why he's playing. They do have a bye. Exactly. It's ridiculous. It's a completely ridiculous statement. And I love when I see these ridiculous statements because I got to call them out when I see them. My only way to know about 80s beer is Deep Impact. Yeah. Deep Impact wasn't an 80s movie, though. As if football and baseball were the same sport. I know. You know, being a DH in baseball really takes the same toll on your body as being a running back on a run-heavy team in the NFL. Big similarity right there, right? I want Kyle Schwarber to break the home run. Not because I want it taken away from Ryan Howard, but I just think this season has been extremely special for Kyle Schwarber. And with his pending free agency, and that number just keeps going up and away. I want to see Kyle Schwarber break the record. I think it would be really cool to do, for sure. I feel that person is wrong on Saquon can get hurt easily. Exactly. It's obvious, obviously. Guardians are extremely. Guardians are playing great. Until someone said it on the show yesterday, I had no idea that the Tigers had completely fallen apart. The Tigers might not even. The Tigers had a 15.5 game lead on their division at the All-Star break, and now they're in the wild card instead. And they might not even make the wild card. It's kind of crazy. Phil, I remember I predicted Schwarber would get 60. You did. I didn't say you were dumb. I thought it was a long shot. I thought it was a long shot 4 days ago. But man, when he gets hot and they start going in bunches like that, nobody can stop Kyle Schwarber. So, props to you. I mean, he's at 56, 4 from 60. Wow. 3 from the record. That's just crazy. It's so rare nowadays. I notice no one knows the other good teams like in NFL. We watch. Look, I follow my Phillies. I don't follow the rest of the teams. What year does Phil think deep? All right, we're talking about the same movie with Morgan Freeman, right? The Asteroid movie. I'm pretty sure that was like late 90s. ESP dresses like an 8-year-old who was staying at grandma's for the week. Yeah. I stayed at my grandma's a lot when I was 8 years old on the weekends, just so you know. And I probably dressed the same way. More important milestone. Schwarber breaks home run record. The Philly hits 1,000. I mean, come on now. This would be it, right? We're going to have a big celebration for 1,000. All right? In fact, I might start setting that up. I'm going to set up a graphic and a show to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. I just don't know when to schedule it for. I mean, you can get hit by a pitch or pull an oblique at any instant. Yeah, there's so little comparison. I think he wasn't even doing the injury comparison. I think he was trying to talk about the mentality of the team and how I think he was trying to hint that the Eagles care more about winning than stats, and the Phillies only care about stats and not winning. I really don't think he was even trying to use the injury aspect as his reasoning. I really think he was trying to say that the Phillies just don't care enough about winning the World Series. I feel you're right, as it would be good for Schwarber and all Philly fans. Yeah, I think it would be a nice reward to the season if he gets that record, for sure. Tigers are completely pissing their pants. They are absolutely. I texted my man Jason last night, and he was just like, he's just so down on that team. And then I guess Scooble hit a guy in the face and is all messed up from that. Sudden Impact I watched. Okay, gotcha. Different movie. Completely different movie, okay? Deep Impact is an asteroid movie that was made at the same time as Armageddon, starring Morgan Freeman. Okay, and plus a great cast around them and all. So huge difference in sudden impact and deep impact. They both had an impact, though. See, you got to think before you speak. For the Dodgers, Cope on IL, Yates on the IL today. I think they are letting them gracefully be left off the postseason roster. Yeah, would know. What you said yesterday, I feel is right about Tampa Bay run defense making it hard for Saquon to rush for more than 100 yards. So I'm going to change my prediction for the game. Well, again, like I said yesterday, I'm waiting on predictions because then we saw yesterday's practice report. We saw the guys go on the injured list. The amount of guys that might be missing for the Eagles defense. I was looking at a low-scoring game. Now I'm looking at a high-scoring game. I have still, till I see what today's practice report is like and who practices and doesn't, I definitely cannot predict anything on this game. Sosa had 3 home runs. We could trade Stott now for prospects in the farm system. No, we cannot. Sosa's not. As I've always said, Sosa is not an everyday player. Now I think I'm a jive turkey. Yeah, absolutely. Phil, it was 22 or 23. I was really into Phillies in playoffs. Well, it's time to do it again this year because the playoffs start next week, and the Phillies' first playoff game is October 4th. We do not know our opponent yet or the time, but we will be October 4th for the first game. So what day of the week is October 4th? I don't even know. Is that a Saturday? 6 is a Monday. So, yeah, there's a Saturday Phillies' first preseason or playoff game. Phils need to do the same with Kirk if he doesn't get the fastball over anymore. They're not going to leave Kirk Green off the playoff roster. I guarantee you that. Phil, I will wait also as I feel too many things are changing right now. We don't have all exactly. That's why I always wait on the predictions. I know everybody wants to instant overreact to predictions. I like to wait. I like to make one prediction always. And to kind of bring the show back to the main topic and the injuries, losing Nolan Smith is a huge loss. Potentially losing Zack Baun and Jihaad Campbell. Huge losses. Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett. We're going to have Keely Ringo out there. Huge difference right now. Maybe. We're not sure there. There's a lot in flux. We think Lane Johnson will play. Will he? We will see. There is so much in flux right now, especially with this Eagles defense, that is so hard to judge. And we don't know if Chris Godwin's going to play for the Bucs or not. There's a lot of guys on the Bucs side that could be ruled out. This might be a preseason-esque type game for these teams with the amount of injuries that both teams have. They were like 3-0 and blew it. Yeah, that sounds like a Phillies playoff series for sure. Nolan and Dean. Dean is not. Dean's been out all year. Stott made the swing adjustments. Can we give Kalo some credit? I think Kevin Long's had a better year than in the past. I'm sure Howie got you as depth. What? Yeah, well, of course. Godwin's playing. That has not been confirmed yet. We are assuming it, but yesterday was his first time practicing all year long. And coming off a major injury last year. Now, they might be forced to rush Godwin back this week with minimal practice because of the loss of Mike Evans, but I don't think it's 100% lock yet. That is still something pending at this point. We'll see today's practice report, and we'll know a little bit more about it. But, yeah, Nolan and Baun, Okay, Nolan and Baun. Now, again, Zack Baun claims he will play, and we may be overreacting. But when you see that video of him walking around the practice field with that, not like a sleeve on his knee, but that big, bulky brace on his left knee, it definitely brings concerns. It definitely scares the fan base. It definitely makes the media create, topics that might be a little scaring to the fans. Bucky Irvin's a top 5 running back. I don't know if he is a top 5 running back or not. Maybe he is this year in rushing yards. I haven't looked at the rushing leaders. But I know he's a top talent at running back. He's definitely more than capable. And look, Rachaad White is not. Is Rachaad White still on the team? Hold on. I'll pull up the Bucs stats right now. I've got very easy access to that because I was already on the game page here. Running backs. Rachaad White's still around. He's still averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Bucky Irvin's only averaging 3.1 yards a carry. He does not have a rushing touchdown. They only have one rushing touchdown all year from Rashid White. He has 56 carries for 174 yards, Bucky Irvin, 3.1 yards per carry. So not that great. Baker Mayfield's got 116 yards for a 9.7 average. And Rashid White's got 91 yards on 17 carries, 5.4. So that's that. I'm not that sold on Otten and their tight end crew. Oh, well, I've got the stats up. I could switch to that. Cade Otten so far has got 7 targets, 3 catches for 25 yards. Yeah, they haven't really passed the ball too well this year. Baker's passed okay. 61% his completion percentage is pretty low. He does not have an interception yet on the season, 6 touchdowns. So, yeah, Godwin was a full participant in practice. I know. I'm just saying it's not 100% guarantee until they say it. I feel one more important thing is not to turn over the ball as Baker Mayfield can get a lot of points quickly. Baker's a creative quarterback. He's a poor man's Jalen Hurts to an extent, in the sense where he doesn't do things flashy all the time. He's a more aggressive version of Jalen Hurts, which means he, in general, he doesn't have the turnovers this year, that just turns the ball over more occasionally because he's more prone with his aggressive nature. But Baker Mayfield, make no mistake about it, is a damn fine, solid quarterback. Your franchise could do much worse than Baker Mayfield. Your O-line is better than that why y'all top. Our line's great. Lane Johnson's banged up. We'll see. Phils are going nowhere if they continue this base running. Stott is having his second best season and almost his best season with the comeback, but his base running knocked his ward down that much. Wait. You think Hurts is better than Hurts? What? Egbuka is a problem. Mark my words. Let's go over his numbers here real quick. He's got 1 9-yard rush. He is right now, yardage-wise, their leading receiver. He's got 181 yards on 14 catches. Second most targets at 21. He's got 3 touchdowns, 12.9 yards per catch. Mike Evans is 27 targets, 140. You got Bucky Irvin, Mike Evans, and Egbuka all with 14 catches on the season. Interesting. I mean, he's a fast young guy. You have to think Quinion Mitchell will guard Chris Godwin, which means Keely Ringo will be on Egbuka. And if he's the speed demon, I think at least that's something that Keely Ringo can handle is the speed. But yeah, if Quinion Mitchell is shadowing Godwin like he did Adams last week, that leaves Egbuka on Keely, maybe on Cooper at times. It's a concern. Just can't cover. Look, I get it. He's put the work in. We assume he can't do it. But you know what? He's trying to prove us wrong. He wants to prove us wrong, Keely Ringo. So he's going to want to prove us wrong. And he's put the work in, according to Vic. Vic Fangio is not afraid to say negative or at least deflect positive answers. He very, very openly complimented Keely Ringo this week. And he didn't use one of his classic compliment sandwiches. He didn't say something nice, didn't say something negative, didn't say something nice. He just completely, look, the guy's put in the work. I told him to be ready. I told him to get ready. Tuck your head down and focus on special teams, but get ready. And now here's opportunity comes. Vic Fangio could easily have said, well, he's got to work on this or that to keep the job, but he didn't. Michael put Emeka Godwin on Ringo. Michael put Emeka Godwin on Ringo. Well, Ringo's going to have to cover somebody. We'll be seeing Mac by the second half. We may. And if that is the case, K1, then you might as well just, that'll be the end of Keely Ringo's time. He'll be a special teamer the rest of this year. And then he'll be gone after this year. This is his 3rd year, right? So he's actually technically got 1 more year left on his rookie contract. Aguka? How do we say his name? I've seen like 4 different spellings of this guy's name. It's Egbuka. Egbuka. Gotcha. Egbuka. Moss Sauce last week. Surprised he destroyed Sauce. On Sauce Gardner. Arguably one of the best. arguably. It's going to be, I don't want to deflect the huge loss of Mike Evans. So I'm not trying to say this. Everyone's saying that it's an easy matchup, their wide receivers against our cornerbacks, because of the loss of Mike Evans. But it's not, because there's still some talent there. Just think about it. When Mike Evans comes back, to have Evans, Godwin, and Igbuka, that's a hell of a wide receiver trio right there, when healthy. Problem is that trio is never healthy. But also, what makes a defensive back, a cornerback's job easier? A great pass rush. And while we only have 3 sacks on the year, Nolan Smith and company have been getting pressure on the quarterbacks and forcing errant throws. They're getting rid of the ball, but they're not getting rid of the ball accurately. Losing Nolan Smith makes the cornerback jobs that much harder. The pressure will be that much lighter on Sunday, in theory. I really was hoping, once I heard the Nolan Smith news, that we'd be starting Trotter and having Campbell on the outside to replace him. At least at times. But then you see John Campbell look like he might not play. Not being able to get pressure on the quarterback directly impacts the cornerback's job. 3 seconds of coverage versus 5 seconds of coverage. Or what else? Taz 2 and Shep. Watch out, Bucs screen game. Man, I mean, if we're without either of our linebackers or both of them, God forbid, that would be a big, big, big problem. Because you're going to need a Campbell and a Baun to shut that down. It's about the O-line, and they're missing, 2 of 5 or 3 of 5 of their starters? And that's a big loss. Yeah, Jalen has not been, and I cautioned people about this before the season started. Everyone was projected 10, 12 sacks for Jalen Hunt this year. And I said, look, guys, he was developing last year. When we drafted him, we said he was a 2 to 3 year project. He came on late last year and had a couple good games, and that we needed to pump the brakes because Jalen Hunt was still in his developmental phase right now. And while Jalen Hunt hasn't been bad this year, Jalen Hunt hasn't lived up to the expectations fans have put on him coming into this season. And I think that's something to think about. It's why Zadarius Smith is here. But Zadarius Smith is supposed to be playing a role at like 30% snaps, 35% snaps. With Nolan Smith out, now his role has to increase. Jalen Hunt's role has to increase. Uche's role has to increase. Zadarius can play the run. Hunt is still learning it. Uche can't. I don't think Patrick Johnson can either. Ojulari hasn't even played this year. That's why when I look at the poll question of the day, which Eagles injury are you most concerned with? Nolan Smith, Zack, Baun, Jihaad, Campbell, Adoree Jackson. First off, Adoree Jackson's got 0 votes. We all hate Kelee Ringo. Y'all think Kelee Ringo can't do the job, but nobody's worried about missing Adoree Jackson. 29% of you said Nolan Smith, 29% said Jihaad Campbell, 43% said Zack Baun. I'm kind of surprised at how few of you have voted for Nolan Smith, to be quite frank. Because although he doesn't have the sack number, so to speak, Nolan Smith has been our best edge rusher above and beyond this year. Okay? And it's a huge loss in so many aspects of the game. And it puts so much more of a workload on guys that aren't ready or haven't had that kind of workload. That's not true. How do you feel about the matchup, both teams? What does both teams have to do to win? Honestly, I mean, I think it's really as simple. The team that controls the clock the most on offense should win this game. It's going to be 105 degrees out. You don't want your defense getting gassed. Our defense is banged up. So our defense being banged up, you want to control the clock to wear out that defense even more. Our offense has to control the clock to keep our defense off the field. So I think time of possession and turnover differential, so to speak, is part of that time of possession as well. But time of possession is so critical this week. People get hard over Hunt's Super Bowl performance, but the Casey left tackle situation was a complete disaster. Exactly. I mean, he played great. Let's not take anything away from him. He had an opportunity against the left tackle. He did what he had to do. But people were expecting, this guy played safety 2 years ago in college. 3 years ago now. Let's be patient with Jalen Hunt. Jalen Hunt should be still in a rotation and still growing and learning. But now Nolan Smith, he's going to be forced to play 50, 60, 70% of the snaps. More concerned about Baun's injury. Baun's injury percentage should have been 100% on the poll. See, the thing is, Zack Baun also claims he will play. I'm scared about that, but he claims he will play. That's probably why it's not 100%, Dante. Baker isn't Hurts-level athlete, but he's mobile and crafty. And I want to edit your comment here, K1, because you're right. He's not Hurts-level athletic, okay? But he is mobile. He is crafty, and he does have that will to win. He has a little bit of that it factor. Just like with Jalen Hurts down 26-9, he knows that team is still going to win Jalen Hurts, okay? Jalen Hurts is never down and out. Baker Mayfield's the same way. He rallies the troops. The teammates respect him and believe in him. Baker's got some of that next level thought process, just like Jalen Hurts. He's the poor man's Hurts in that sense. Both quarterback who get ball last wins. I think you can get it to a point where one of these offenses actually controls the clock enough where the last possession doesn't even matter. I do think it could go one of those 10-point games where one team's just run the clock out and kneeling it down late in the game. What about the Bucs defense? So right now, through 3 weeks, total defense, Bucs are 12th, giving up 297 yards a game. Their pass defense is 19th. They give up 213. Their run defense is 6th. They only give up 84 yards a game. And points, they're 17th, giving up 22 points a game. Now, it is early in the season, so these numbers are a little flawed. But early numbers tell me that the Eagles should be able to attack the pass defense of the Bucs easier than the run. But we'll see. Yes, I always question you. Only Bucs player out is Cansey. Well, Evans, but did they put Evans on IR? Or they haven't just said that yet. Didn't Hurts have over 200 last week? He had 215-ish. It depends on if the AI has to do it. The AI, well, it was just before the hour mark. I mean, I can write it down and hunt for it if it doesn't. We'll see whether it comes up with it or not. Let me add up all 3 games passing yards and see if it equals. Ha ha ha. They did not put Mike Evans on IR. They haven't ruled him out officially either. And in-game injury could massively shift this game more than most games. Again, controlling the time of possession this week. The Eagles are already going to be down in the depth department because of the current injuries. Anything else pops up, we're screwed. Oh, you're just talking about defense. Gotcha. Sorry. No, it's hard. I lose track of some of these conversations. Somebody voted for Adoree Jackson. Thank you. Whoever. We just went from 21 to 23 votes on the poll, and one of those 2 new votes did go to Adoree Jackson. So I appreciate that because I think Adoree Jackson injury is actually, while it's not the biggest injury, it's a bigger injury than people realize. We got 21 likes on the video too. Not bad. So I appreciate that as well, guys. If you haven't liked the video, please like. If you haven't shared it out, do. And of course, please subscribe. No new subscribers yet today. We gained like 18 new subscribers, 17 new subscribers yesterday, and none today. So please hit that subscribe button. You voted Adoree. Good. So here's my thought process, okay? Adoree Jackson hasn't been great. Yes. Adoree Jackson was better last week versus the Rams. Also, yes. Keely Ringo hasn't earned that job, had it stolen by Adoree Jackson. So is Keely Ringo even good enough? If somebody else gets hurt in that secondary, we're shit out of luck. Adoree Jackson, while not good, has been serviceable. We are 3-0 with Adoree Jackson starting. Keely Ringo, I tried to make my dad's chips, hashtag TCA. Brought the conversation earlier. There's a lot of parallels between Keely Ringo and Tyler Steen. Keely Ringo was supposed to be the heir apparent. Tyler Steen was supposed to be the heir apparent. Mekhi Becton stole that from him last year. Keely Ringo was supposed to be. Adoree stole it from him this year. A lot of parallels there. I think today in Hurt Report, no more playing. Yeah, I'll be waiting to do as much of my research till as late as possible because of that. When I record my nightly show, the Check Down, for the Eagles Pinball Podcast Network, I'll be waiting as late as possible for that as well to get both teams' injury reports because I'll have to have a prediction for tomorrow morning. Shout out Chips. That's right. Chips and dip. Only a few know that one. Anyway, what are we at here? An hour and 5 minutes. So, guys, it is Training the AM. Do your job. Share those out. Vote on the poll. I suspect this could be known as the Mac McWilliams game. You're not the only person saying that. And while it's a possibility, it definitely seems like Vic Fangio is going to go with Keely Ringo, at least to start. Let's think about it. Cooper Dejean. Oh, so by the way, last year's loss to the Bucs, I mentioned it already. There was no A.J. Brown, there was no Devontae Smith, and there was no Lane Johnson. But defensively speaking, there was no Cooper Dejean because Cooper Dejean didn't make his first start till week 6 after the bye. So that would be starting Mac McWilliams sooner than Cooper Dejean. Just going to throw that out there. I can't believe that got sideline tickets. Chips and dips, what a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about a show on YouTube that used to be called that. Bucs and Eagles don't like each other. Both teams, bad blood. Dude, it's crazy. Bucs Radio Bolts. You know, the Eagles kind of have some new rivals. The Cowboys aren't really a rival because they suck. The Giants suck. The Buccaneers are legitly one of our biggest rivals right now. We seem to play them every year, sometimes twice a year. They have our number. And, you know, A.J. Brown was asked about this yesterday. I didn't write the quote down, but he basically talked about it. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They've got our number. They've been able to beat us. We've got to go out and prove that we can beat them now. So even A.J. Brown, even the players know and think about the fact, and I think it stews in their minds, that this team has got our number. This Eagles team is a very prideful team. They don't like that a team like the Bucs have been able to beat them so handily, so frequently. You better believe they are in the lab dissecting every aspect of this right now, trying to figure out how they can turn the tides versus just losing again. The legend of Mac. I don't know. Chips and Dip are two ladies that do TikTok and do, I don't know. There was one of my earlier networks. There was a guy who did a show called Chips and Dip. I really think whoever wins this game will control the NFC. I mean, maybe. I mean, it's only week 4. Week 4, it's still early to really know that. The Eagles, if they lose the Eagles and they go to 3-1, they're not all of a sudden magically not in control of their own destiny anymore. The Bucs, while a very good team, I mean, I don't know if they're number 1 seed or number 2 seed worthy. I still think the NFC is through Philly no matter what happens. And I still would put Detroit, maybe Green Bay, maybe the Rams. I would put the Bucs. I'd put Eagles, Lions. No matter what happens, Eagles, Lions. Then I would go Bucs, Rams, Packers, Commanders, all in that second tier. I totally forgot the Birds were missing AJ, Finn Diesel, and Lane Johnson last year. And again, throw Cooper Dejean into that as well, right? And I agree. I mean, the Tampa loss was part of the reason why the responsibility of this team transforming because at the bye week last year, after the loss to Tampa, there was so much talk about firing Nick Sirianni. So much talk that Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore weren't it. More talk about Jalen Hurts sucking. Okay? There was so much conversation going on in that bye, and this team buckled down and figured it out. They got their players healthy. They got Cooper Dejean out there. and the tide started to change. That Tampa loss last year, I'm not making excuses for it. Next man up has to be a philosophy. But last year's loss turned everything around. Rams and Lions, son. I mean, the Eagles are ahead of them, in my opinion. I'm not writing the Rams off after one loss, and I'm definitely not writing the Lions off after one loss this year either. Tiebreaker. Okay. It does affect the winner. This does affect tiebreakers. I get it. I predict the Panthers humble the Buccaneers soon. I'm not buying the Panthers just because they won one football game. Not doing that at all. Tampa is playing at a high level right now. They are still a team to always keep an eye on. Absolutely. I'm not downgrading the Bucs at all. I think the Bucs are winning their division. I predicted it. I'll stand by that. I think they're a 10-11 win team. No doubt it. Maybe 12 now with their 3-0 start. I am a huge Tampa Bay supporting, guy because I like Baker Mayfield. I just have to root totally against him this weekend in the standings in the playoffs. But in a neutral game, Buccaneers versus anybody else, I'm probably rooting for the Buccaneers at this point. I honestly think it is way too early to assert any confidence control for anyone. I absolutely agree, Nooms. I mean, it's funny. I think it was K1 commented on a reel about, Jacksonville's probably in a fire sale. And I'm like, dude, Jacksonville's 2-1. They're not in a fire sale. But it's not like I'm anointing Jacksonville, this great team, because of it. Way too much can happen right now, this early in the season. It is never too early to invest in narratives. I mean, narratives are what drive sports content, whether on the radio, TV, or online. No doubt about it. It's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's right. You did say it right. Well, Cosmo says you're what? Okay. We all know the issue before was that the OCs would still try to force feed the pass game in bad weather, injuries, and all the evidence telling them they needed to run. Yeah. You ain't down with that? Well, I got two words for you. What's up, Chet? Great. Listen, the interview with Conklin last night, Joe Conklin, was phenomenal. If you guys have not seen Philly Press Box Radio from last night, check it out. It's on the YouTube page. It's under the live tab. Let me tell you something. Joe Conklin's the man. I knew that. I still know that. It was a hell of an interview. And some of those impersonations, as expected, were phenomenal. Anyway, Chet says, Baker Mayfield is playing well, but the Bucs' 3 wins have come against opponents who are combined 1-8. It's a great point. And it's a very, very fair point. Strength compared to the Eagles' 3 wins. Well, Dallas has only got 1 win. The Chiefs only got win. So, I mean, it's like the Eagles' opponents are what? 4 and what's that? 2, 4 and 5? I guess, so it's not much better. Jacksonville is not absolutely not. But I'm also not saying that Jacksonville is going to be great just because they're 2-1 through 3 weeks of the season. Chet is in the chat. I mean, you guys get so excited about Chet. But where are you guys in the chat when Chet's live? Casey loses 2 more games. They might be fire sale ready. Yeah. Absolutely. Bucs made comeback wins last 1 minute. Hard to do against some pretty bad teams is what they're saying. I'm just quoting Sir Mix-a-Lot. Are you? Cool. Just Joe Conklin was terrific. Impressions of Vermeil, Andy Reid, the Bill Campbell was great. The Joel Embiid. Like, I've heard him do some of these. I've heard him do Vermeil, heard him do Reid. I've even heard him do Campbell before. All great. His Joel Embiid impersonation last night. I think I've heard him do it before. But just the skit he did talking as Joel Embiid. Guys, you got to find it. I think what'd he say? He's like, then I'll come back and get dysentery, and that's not as good of an impersonation, Conklin. When he talked about as Joel Embiid getting dysentery, missing time because of it, I was rolling. I was at the pizza shop. I had one customer sitting there waiting for food. My wife and my delivery driver sitting there, and I just started rolling. And they're like, what's so funny? I'm like, you guys wouldn't get it. It was so good. There are many that believe I am more talented of an impersonator than Joe Conklin. But what do I do? But what I do pays quite a bit better. I don't know. I'm sure Conklin's doing pretty well at this point in his life. But yeah, I mean, I was never much of an impersonator. But Conklin is fantastic. Bucs hard schedule coming up. Seahawks and 49ers. Both tough games. 49ers are 3-0. I am not buying the 49ers being 3-0. I don't think they're that great. I still think the Rams are that division. And the Seahawks are good. Sam Darnold's got a chip on his shoulder. Good playing team, good running game, solid defense. So yeah, tough schedule. I wouldn't be talking about dysentery while serving pizza if I were. No, I don't have dysentery. Joel Embiid has dysentery, according to Joe Conklin. Oh, excuse me, guys. Anyway, we're coming up final 15 minutes here. If you haven't yet, like. If you haven't yet, subscribe. If you haven't yet, share. And vote on our poll question. We're up to 27 votes now. 30% of you say Nolan Smith is the biggest concern of a loss. Zack Baun, 41%. Jihaad Campbell, 26%. And Adoree Jackson at 4% on the poll. Love the voting and how it's going so far. Although I do think I would vote for Nolan Smith personally. But that's just me. 21 people have liked this video so far. No new subscribers. A little disappointed in that. 21 likes, but 27 votes. That means someone's not doing their job. Does it get easier for the Eagles after this? Next week, we've got the Broncos. But after the Broncos, so our stretch of tough games were 1-5 and 15-17. So Cowboys to open up the season. Cowboys good or bad. That's a tough game. Thursday Night Football, raising the banner. Then the Chiefs, the Rams, the Bucs, and the Broncos. That was our first tough schedule. And then we go Commanders, Bills, Commanders to close the year out. But in the middle there, we got a bunch of easier games. 2 Giants games, a Cowboys game, Vikings, things like that. Oh, man, I felt that coming on for a while there. Excuse me. Who has what? I don't know. Smith is developing and has a little time to develop, but Baun is an immediate need in both leadership and skill sets. I like how you say Nolan Smith is still developing, because I think he still is developing. But yet, the guy does get injured a lot as well. While he's still developing, he's still our best player at that position. Broncos, Giants, Vikings. I mean, it's a tough stretch till we get to that Giants. Oh. After that sneeze, I can't clear me out now. My eyes are watering. Schedule lets up for the Birds until after the bye, depending on what you think of Denver. I think Denver's still pretty good. They haven't played as well this year, but they're still a good team. Broncos not a bad team, not at all. The Bucs tests are the Birds, Bills, Rams, and Lions. Very tough stretch of games, obviously. Denver at home should be a win. Should be. Will it be? I don't know. It depends on how this week goes. It depends on how the injuries go. I think I had predicted a loss against Denver and a win against the Bucs. I think that was my original prediction. Yeah, I had the KC and Denver games as losses early on the schedule. But that's why these schedule predictions are so meaningless to an extent. But Denver's playing much worse than I expected, so we'll see. Good luck with the Bills. I mean, the Bills stink. Hold on, wait, what do you like to say? The Bills are mid, right? Isn't that what the cool kids say? The Bills are mid. Anyway, that's another thing with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is kind of injury prone to an extent, right? He missed time his rookie year, missing time now. He's had arm, tricep, bicep, pec issues all over his arm and side of his body. You know, the guy does get injured a lot. Do I think the Chargers are for real? That is a complex question because I think they are regular season for real. The Chargers and Justin Herbert are very good regular season playing teams. Problem is, I have no faith in Justin Herbert when the lights get the brightest. Okay? Now, I haven't gone, player by player. I haven't really, dove deep into the Chargers roster this year yet. I know they're winning, but the Chargers are very similar to the Phillies. Who cares about the stats? Who cares about the regular season wins? Can they do it when it matters most? And the Chargers and Justin Herbert just haven't. So it's a prove-it year till the end, in my opinion, for the Chargers. I remember dismantling Denver in 17. I think it was Ajayi's first game. Yeah, maybe. Do you think the Colts are for real? Again, I think they're going to win their division. They're real enough to keep up the momentum to win that division. The Jaguars will not. And the Texans look like they're in free fall. Can't believe in Tennessee. So I think they're real enough to win the division. But how real do you want me to, like, how real can they be with Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, as their quarterback? Right? Like, he's not going to play at an MVP level all year. It's a great story, but how great is it, really? So I think they can win their division for sure. Is that good enough to consider them real? Maybe. He needs to develop durability. He does. Do the Chargers have a stout D? And this is where my lack of knowledge of the Chargers roster right now comes into play. Nolan has to work on that, on not arm tackle. He tries to tackle in a very twitchy way when his body is still moving quickly. And that would affect his arms and his shoulders and stuff like that a lot, for sure. Jonathan Taylor is absolutely a stud. Another guy like Saquon and Derrick Henry that I think like 2 years ago, we thought Jonathan Taylor was already slowing down. But he's already proven that that's not the case. He had a really good year last year, and he's already started out red hot this year. Makes Daniel Jones' job a little easier, which is funny because he had a Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley, and that didn't work for them with the Giants because the Giants are such a trash organization. Bicep, tricep, and pec may be a chronic issue for Nolan Smith. It might turn into that because of his tackling style, because, you injure one body part enough times, it just becomes more and more injury prone every time after that. Bucky Irvin's a great running back, great young running back. I do like Bucky Irvin. It's funny. The last time I was in a fantasy league, I was in a keeper league, and then I left the league before the next year. But I was going to make Rashid White, after his first breakout year, my keeper. And then I left the league. I left that group of friends, whatever, and I didn't stay there. But I'm glad I didn't stay in that league because I would have kept Rashid White, and it wouldn't have been any good because Bucky Irvin took over the next year. I think Bucky could be next level. Time will tell. The offensive line of the Bucs has got to block for him. Lions have never been to the Super Bowl. I think pretty much everybody knows that, yes. Better than that, than the shoulder. Shoulders destabilize quickly. Yeah. I mean, I still want to see him stay healthy. I still want to see him get healthy. But, look, the whole point of this show today, the whole main topic of this show, has been very injury-centric. But I think the thumbnail, next man up, is the key answer. We're concerned about Baun, Campbell, Smith, whatever. Does the mentality of this football team, does the leadership of this Eagles football team do enough, okay, to have these guys ready in this next man up mentality? Next man up is so key in football. And Rashad, I thought it was Rashid. Rashid, tomatoes, apples, oranges, whatever. Okay? Whatever, K1. Break my train of thought by correcting another name mispronunciation. Like I've never done that before. Never pronounced the name wrong ever in my life. Do I have to remind you about Aqua Bowman and Bazudinu? Anyway, the next man up mentality is so critical and so important going forward for this Eagles team. Who's going to be the guys? Seems like Keely Ringo's going to be the guy, but no one has confidence in him. It seems like we don't know who's the next guy on the edge. Trot Jr. may have a chance. Rest in peace, Peter Jason. Off the top of my head, I don't even know who that is, and I'm not sure why, if he's that big a deal. Hold on. Oops, I'm spelling it wrong. Who is Peter Jason? The face looks familiar. Movies. First ones that pop up that I've never seen or heard of. TV shows. Yeah, I'm not sure who he is, but rest in peace. but those muscle groups can be reinforced externally with a little loose in motion and range. Shoulders will destroy range and motion quickly. It's fair. Anyway, we're coming to the final 5 minutes of the show. It's time for us to think about what will tomorrow bring. Tomorrow we'll do the X's and O's. Tomorrow we'll know more about the injuries. Tomorrow we'll have a better understanding. And the Eagles are traveling down to Tampa tomorrow, so they won't be practicing tomorrow, just today. Probably practice on a little bit on Saturday, but we'll see about that. These injuries, while they can't be an excuse, they weren't an excuse last year when we lost. They can't be an excuse this year. We don't need to lose to get this ship right. 8 home runs. God, I mean, they were talking, I forget the number. It doesn't happen often, I'll just say. They were talking about how frequently it's happened in Eagles or Phillies history, and it's not often. They were also talking, we almost had 2 guys with 3 home runs. That does not happen often either. Phillies play tonight. Phillies are pretty much done on the number 1 seed. I think they are 2.5 games back still of the Brewers with 4 to go. So most likely that's out of the picture. We'd have to win out. They'd have to lose out, whatever. But the 2 seed is locked up now for the Phillies, and that's all that matters. That Schwarber home run was almost identical to the Stairs. I saw somebody talking about that, or do a side-by-side on Twitter about that. Hey, Phil, what's up, Jonathan? How you doing? I just saw Vikings schedule. October 19th could be a Carson Wentz Eagles matchup, and Zack Baun injury more concerning, but I read that he's good. So, yes, we could see Carson Wentz versus the Eagles, and I'm hoping we do. I think that would be a play. I will rock my Wentz jersey or Schurzy for that game right here live on this channel. Guarantee you that. Zack Baun claims he will be okay, but when you see him walking around with a big, bulky knee brace, fear instantly comes into your mind. Zack Baun said all the right things to make me think he's going to play. John Campbell, after practice, said all the wrong things that makes me think he might not play. So we'll see. Today's practice will be very telling since we're guaranteed no Friday practice. So today will be a very telling day on who will and won't play for the Eagles on Sunday. So there's that. We'll see. And I think Nolan Smith is a bigger concern. I do. Not sure I ever remember a reverse having 3 home runs in a game on any team, even Michael Katire. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's crazy, though. I mean, it just goes to show that these bats can burst out of their slump at any moment's notice. Let's just hope they're ready to go October 4th. Let's hope that there's no letdown on October 4th. And let's hope it's not the Mets we're playing on October 4th. Let's hope that as well. But that's that. But anyway, guys, we got to start the wrap-up process here. I got to get ready to go to work here in a minute. Just stay consistent. Absolutely. And that's what I do right here on the STT Sports Network and Training the AM. I stay consistent. And we do that by likes, shares, subscribes, voting on the poll. Had a lot of likes today, but no new subscribers today. Mets have no pitching. Yep. But it's still the Mets. All the Mets have to do is win 1 game in Philly, and then I'm scared out of my mind. Deuces. We'll be back tomorrow. Oh, prediction. Never gave the prediction, man, Chatter. Tonight's game. Okay, hold on. Let me open my notebook back up. Seattle at Arizona. Arizona is a 1.5-point dog. I got the Cardinals winning outright. Not just covering the 1.5-point spread. Outright. Cardinals win tonight on Thursday Night Football. You heard it here first. Go drop a bet on it. Bet responsibly. Yeah, I know. Yesterday, boom. Today, it is what it is. Just wait till all the shorts that come out on the K1, right? What's up, MM? We're about to shut it down for the day. Sorry. If the crap coming out on offense coordinator True in the press conference talking about he been aggressive all season with play calls. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really believe exactly what he's saying and spewing out in the press conferences, MM. Yes, Chet, you agree as well? I got Cardinals. I'm high on the Cardinals this year. Seattle is what Jonathan's going with. Yeah, totally forgot about that game. Totally forgot about predicting that. If he'd been aggressive all season, I want to know what. Look, I mean, I'm trying to wrap this up, but just to remind you, first play of the game, was it the Chiefs game? He had an aggressive play call designed up. A.J. Brown was wide open down the field, 65-yard touchdown, incoming. But Grant Calcaterra filling in for Dallas Goedert missed a block that blew that play up. So there have been aggressive play calls that just haven't been blocked or executed well. So let's not forget that. Deuces. Guys, we got to wrap this up. Home teams win way more often on Thursday Night Football. Guys, I got to wrap this up. Everybody have a great Thursday. It's going to be a rainy, bad weather day. So everybody have a good one, though. We'll talk tomorrow, live 8 a.m. Look out for all the shorts from this show. Go Birds! Bubbles up.